transition from what we refer to as offline marketing to online marketing. It used to be, like I was talking about a couple minutes ago, it used to be that you could buy a full page ad in the Yellow Pages and rest pretty confidently knowing that when your customer needed your services, they would pick up the Yellow Book and they would find you. You'd at least be top of mind. You'd be able to show up when they were looking for what you did. The transition, though, is that people aren't going to the Yellow Pages in the same velocity that they used to. They're not going to that Yellow Book and opening it up and thumbing through. They're going someplace different. And so it kind of begs the question, where are people going when they need plumbing and HVAC related services? And the answer is, for the most part, they're going to the internet. One of the latest studies showed that more than a survey of more than 2,000 consumers found that over 86% of them are using the internet when they need to find local business. So the answer is they're not really going to the Yellow Pages as much as they used to. There's still something to be said for having an ad in the Yellow Pages, but for the most part, people, when they need your types of services, are going to the web. And there's over 20 million searches every single month for plumbing and HVAC related terms. And we got that data by looking at the historic search trends on Google and Yahoo and Bing, and that's where we came up with this information, just looking at historic search trends. So just to give you an example of how this plays out in the real world and why it's so important, one of the clients we work with down in the South Florida, in the Tampa area, was a big-time advertiser in the Yellow Pages. And, he was a big player in his market, and noticed that he wasn't getting as many calls as he once did from the Yellow Pages. And so he decided he needed to get involved in the internet. And relatively early on, he decided he'd set up a website and he would, put his shingle out online. So when someone typed in his company, hopefully they would find him and he'd have some good information available. Well, he got his website up and, didn't really know exactly how to do it. He basically had a web development company build a website, and that was about that. So he came to us and said, hey, guys, put together a web presence solution for me. Do your optimization thing, do your social media thing, and let's see what we can do online. And this client, in his first month, we do put a tracking number on our client's website so we can see how things are going and what the increase is, not just from a placement perspective, but at the end of the day, more importantly, from a optimization perspective and from an inbound call perspective. And in his first month on the tracking, we saw 11 inbound calls. So that gave us a baseline as to where he was starting, how many calls he was getting from the web in the first place. Then, by the third month, and that gave us some time to update his website, get some placement on the search engines, and that's not necessarily page one, but some solid placement for a variety of his words. Going into the third month, he had 57 inbound calls via the web. Now, 9 months in, after really getting placed on page one in the top couple of listings for a number of his keywords, 9 months in, from 11 calls month one, he had 125 inbound calls directly via the web in his 9th month. And now, on an ongoing basis, he averages somewhere between 120 and 140 calls directly via the internet every single month. And so all of that's just to indicate internet marketing will not just be something fun or give you a better position, but it will drive more inbound calls for your business. So that's why search engine optimization and internet marketing is so important for your plumbing business. Now, I just want to stop there because this is kind of segment one of the presentation, and see what questions you have on that. What questions you have on the importance of the search engines. So I'm just going to take a look here. Okay. All right, so the question I'm getting is, how do you know how many calls? The way we know how many calls is we put a unique number that's unique to that customer on their website, and it rings to their office just like it always does, but it gives you the ability to see how many calls are coming to that number, and that number is listed only in one place, and that is the website. And so that's how we were able to gauge, in this case, just for this example, how we went from 11 calls to 125 calls in in less than a 1 year period. Okay, I'm going to move on. So now let's demystify what's happening on the search engine. So if somebody types in, your city plus plumber, your city plus plumbing contractor, your city plus water heater repair. There's a lot of different things happening on the search engines. I just want to break this down because some people realize this, some people don't, and it's important to understand the different elements so that you can have a strategy for each. So up along the top and along the sides, you have what's called pay-per-click listings. Those, you pay for, and I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. In the area below, this area here where you got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that's called the map listings. And then, of course, below that, you've got what's called the organic listings. So let's talk a little bit about pay-per-click. The way the pay-per-click area works is, and that's along the top and along the side, it's advertising space. You're able to pick the keywords that you want to rank for, bid on them, and only, say, I'll pay a certain amount per click in my market, and then that's how you're able to show up in the paid area in the search engines. There are some benefits to to this form of advertising in that you can pick a word like plumber, plumbing, water heater repair, and even though the person didn't type in your city, for instance, they didn't type in Miami, they didn't type in Santa Monica, they just happened to type in your city, or they just typed in plumber. Well, based on the IP address, meaning where they typed that search from, Google can say, okay, well, that person's searching from Santa Monica. You can say, okay, well, anybody within a 25-mile radius of my area that types in the word plumber, plumbing contractor, emergency plumber, burst pipe, repiping, I want to show up for that word. So that's how you're able to show up. The way that you determine your placement, whether position 1 or 2 or 3 or down here like number 7, is it's a bidding system, kind of like eBay. So if you decided you wanted to bid on the word Santa Monica plumber and you said, hey, I'll pay $7 per click, that might put you right here, because and this is just example numbers, let's say that this guy in the top spot said, I'll pay $22 a click. And then the second spot said, I'll pay $21 a click. And this guy said, I'll pay $18. And he said, I'll pay $17. So you pay on a cost per click basis, and it's on a bidding auction type of system. It's more complicated than that. There are a lot of additional variables, such as quality score and other things that go into what your actual cost is. So, there are cases where an effective pay-per-click campaign, you could be in the top spot at $8, where, this guy on the second spot could be paying $13 because there's other components. But I just want you to get the idea. You pay on a per-click basis. You can set whatever budget you want. So you might say, hey, I want to try this out. I will pay... I'll put in there $100 a month, or I'll put in there $100 a day. Don't spend more than $100 a day, but I'll spend $100 a day. And then, as people click on you, depending upon whether it's a $13 click or $2 click or $7 click, your budget spends out at $100, and then you come off the search engines. So that's the pay-per-click section. The next section is what we call the map listings. And this used to be called Google Places. Now it's actually referred to as Google Plus Local. Google recently changed this entire part of the search engine where now it's pulling information from Google Plus, their social media program. And, the main thing I want you to get from this organic section, this map section, is you can't buy your way into the map. There's no advertising mechanism where you can say, hey, I'll spend $2,000 per month if you put me in spot A on the map. It doesn't work that way. Google places people on the map based on a variety of factors, but really it's a function of where are you located, how many reviews do you have, how legitimate of a player does Google think you are based on your credibility in the marketplace, based on online factors. So you can't buy the place, and there's some certain things that Google looks at in order to place that. But what they want to do is place the best companies in those spots A through G on page 1 so that their consumer, when they run a search, type of search for Santa Monica plumber, and they come across guys that are quality providers, they're going to come out and do a good job, so that the next time they need to find a local business, where are they going to go? They're going to go back to Google. And as long as Google's creating a good experience for its customers, they keep using the engine, they keep making billions of dollars on the pay-per-click listings. Now moving on to the To the map listings, to the organic listings, again, you can't buy your way into the organic listings. The organic listings are based on the content that's on your website, what Google perceives as your authority for that page and that specific content in your website, but you can't buy your way into these listings. So again, just to reiterate, and what I want to focus on is there's three main components on the search engines. There's the pay-per-click, the map, the organic. You pay as advertising to get into the PPC listings. You have to have our true location and some other factors that establish you as an organization to get on the map, and then you have to have a good website with quality content and inbound links to get into the organic section of the search engines. And I'm going to go into specific depth on each three of these, but I just want you to get the idea that those are three different sections that you have to have three completely different strategies for. Any questions on that, on the differences between the map and the organic and the pay-per-click? Okay. All right. So one of the most common things that we hear once we get through this portion of the presentation is, okay, well then, that being the case, what should I do? Where should I focus my energy? Should I try and get on the map? Should I try and get the organic section? Should I just run a pay-per-click campaign? And I like to answer that with data. So, there were some studies conducted to see what people looked at when they search. So when someone types in your city plus plumber, your city plus plumbing, where do they look? Do they look at the organic section, or do they look at the pay-per-click listings? And for the most part, more than 72% of the population, when they run a search, their eyes go straight to the organic section, straight to the map and organic listings, and kind of skim right past the pay-per-click listings. And the reason for that is a lot of people now realize that those are advertising. It's almost like when you read the newspaper or a magazine, are you looking for the articles that are good, that have good content, or do you want to read the ad? No, you kind of skip past the ad. You might see the image, but you're going to go ahead and read what you consider to be the actual content. And so that's why a majority of the population look at the organic listings. And this image on the right is just a heat map that they used goggles that measure where the eye looks and where they spend most of their time when they get to a page. And the heat map really indicates that the majority of the population, when they search, are looking right at the map in the organic section most of the time. So that being the case, you probably want to focus your time, your energy, and your financial resources on the area where people spend most of their time, which is the organic and non-pay-per-click sections on the search engine. Now, that's not to say you don't want to have pay-per-click as a component of your strategy, because it gives you another placeholder for what you do in your area. But if you've got limited resources and you need to say, okay, where can I spend my time and my energy most effectively, definitely focusing on the organic and map listings is the way to go. So I hope you found this information interesting. I hope you found it valuable. We developed a complete guide to go along with this that shares some of our best ideas and strategies and techniques on how you can do the step-by-step stuff, how to claim your Google Places listing, how to build out those web pages on your website, how to get the inbound links, how to leverage social media and specific how-tos on how to set up your Facebook page. To download that, you can go to plumberseo.net/free. Now, if you're the type of business owner that says, you know what, Josh, this is great information. I appreciate that you just spent an hour and 15 minutes sharing this great information with me. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. I'm a plumber. I'm the owner of a plumbing or HVAC business, and I've got work to do. I would like to have an expert that knows how to do this stuff that could do it for me. Now, if you're that kind of company and you're saying, you know what, I'd like that level of support, I'd like to have somebody do this for me, well, then I'd love to talk with you. Obviously that's what we do. Our core business is taking these ideas, these strategies, these techniques, and implementing them on the behalf of our clients. So if that's you, if you'd like to talk with me, I'd encourage you to give me a call. We only work with one plumber or HVAC contractor in each market. So if you're interested, give me a call. You can reach me directly at 866-610-4647. And I appreciate you taking the time, and I really truly hope that you're able to take these ideas and take your business to a whole nother level.